Good evening, nerds around the world, and welcome to episode 35 of the Nerds Unite as One podcast. It is Paul English, joined as always by Chris Miller. How you doing?
Hey, Paul. I'm glad to be here, fellow nerds around the world. I'm so pumped to do the show. It's a show I've been really excited to do.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. As always, we have a great show for you today, and it is a very fun show. Again, we're looking forward to this. We are going to be debating two of the most popular and successful motion picture anthologies of all time, the Superman and Batman motion picture anthology. These are the kings of DC. These are two great franchises, and we are going to be discussing them here today. But before we get to DC, we got a little Marvel news to go over. We're going to jump right in on this one. Last week, artwork was released that is showing the two teams from Captain America Civil War and who and which characters will be on which team. So we are going to talk about the team, we're going to talk about the characters on each one, and we're going to give our thoughts on it. So on Team Iron Man, we have War Machine, Black Widow, Black Panther, and Vision. On Team Captain America, we have Hawkeye, Agent 13, Falcon, and Winter Soldier. So, Chris, let's talk about Team Iron Man first, and let's talk about some of the obvious picks. I think it was pretty obvious right from the beginning that War Machine was going to be on Captain America, not on Captain Iron Man. That War Machine would be on Iron Man's side. Would you agree with that?
Of course, the character James Rhodes, is a buddy and confidant, of Tony Stark, aka Iron Man. They have a deep bonded relationship. I mean, we knew. Come on, you knew it was pretty obvious. He would be on Team Iron Man. It's just like it wasn't. It wasn't any real doubt behind it.
No, I don't think there was too much doubt either that Vision was going to wind up siding with Iron Man, considering he used to be, he was created from Jarvis. He sparked from Jarvis. So not too much surprise there that Vision sides with Iron Man. Would you agree with that?
No, pretty much, yeah. Like I said, yeah, you're right. Jarvis, of course, Jarvis. So we see in the Age of Ultron, Jarvis was Vision wasn't all shoot of Jarvis, I wouldn't say he has blind loyalty to Tony Stark, but he does, seem to, have a. He does have a certain kind of commitment to Tony, being that he was an offshoot of a creation of Stark. So yeah, not another surprise there,
Okay, all right. Now here are two names that really shocked me when I saw them. Like, oh my god, I can't believe this. Black Panther. I was quite surprised. Black Panther was siding with Iron Man. I thought for sure, he was gonna wind up siding with Captain America based on the Avengers animated show that was on Disney XD a few years ago. I've seen, Black Panther seemed like almost infatuated with Captain America in that show, or idolized Captain America, I should say. So it kind of a shock to me that Black Panther seems to be signing with Iron Man on this one. Chris, what was your reaction to that?
Mine was just you. It's just it was pure shock. I mean, that was completely unexpected. I'm not sure what to make of this whole Black Panther siding with Stark. I'm not too sure. What kind of I'm not sure there's really any kind of reason. As that we know of, to see his siding with him. I certainly can't think of it. I'm trying to think of it. It's like, of all things, yeah, he does have a kind of T'Challa, or should I say Captain. Should I say Black Panther? Just have I expect he would have a kind of affinity and admiration for Captain America, but this one kind of shocked me. I was like, I'm not really sure how this is going to play out in the long run.
The only explanation I can think of was that, if I recall the first Captain America movie, Howard did, with Captain America's shield being made of vibranium.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember, how did Howard Stark get that sample of vibranium from Wakanda? Like, that might explain that's something to do with it. Like, maybe T'Challa's father told stories of Howard Stark, and that might have something to do with it. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I just hope they don't tell us before the movie comes out. Some things should be a surprise.
Yeah.
Some things should be a surprise. All right, here was my ultimate shocker. Black Widow on Team Iron Man side? That was the biggest shocker of all. I thought for sure, given everything that she went through with Cap in Winter Soldier, and given the fact that, if I recall, the next Avengers Heroes of Tomorrow animated film, Cap and Black Widow got married. I mean, I think there's a storyline in the comics where they get married. So, I mean, that was the biggest shocker to me, that Black Widow siding with Iron Man. Like, what the hell? Yeah, that was my biggest shocker. I did not see that coming at all. Blindsided me for sure. Chris, what was your reaction to that?
I'm with you. I was very, very shocked about this whole thing. Of all the things, in the previous Marvel Cinematic Universe films, she has kind of like an infatuation, admiration for Tony, but you could kind of expected that she would, when it comes to something like this in Civil War, whatever it is, you could, or any other film, you could expect her that you have some sort of major falling off, and they would, be on the opposite sides of the spectrum. You can kind of expected that. This was unexpected, however, Cap and Natasha, are definitely opposite sides, especially in terms of morality. Cap is kind of, morally,
Boy Scout.
Yeah, the upper right kind of, the big, the quintessential Boy Scout. While Natasha is kind of morally right. I mean, she's not afraid to step out of the boundaries. She's not afraid to take things one step further. But this was kind of, but you didn't really expect that to go ahead, especially. I mean, yeah, Captain and Natasha really, have their differences, but we didn't expect it to go like this.
Mm.
I mean, that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
I agree. That's going to be very intriguing to see where that unfolds. All right, so that was Team Iron Man. Now let's talk Team Captain America. Not as many surprises on this one. I mean, you kind of expected a Falcon, Winter Soldier, and Agent 13 all to side with Captain America in this one. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, definitely, of course. Especially, it's not. I mean, no real surprises on the side of Cap. Especially because Sam Wilson and Steve Rogers are best buds. They really joined to the hip. They really have a rapport with one another. And then with Hawkeye, he really has a respect for Cap. My question in all this is, where is Scarlet Witch?
I mean, yeah, well, I was just gonna get to that, finishing up, but Hawkeye was kind of the one surprise. I knew from earlier on that Black Widow and Hawkeye, that it was released that they were going to be on opposite ends. But I thought for sure Hawkeye was going to wind up with Iron Man, because I thought for sure, that Black Widow would wind up with Cap. So that was kind of the only surprise. That was kind of the only big shock. That was the only surprise on Cap's side, that Hawkeye was with him. But I mean, kind of sad. We're going to see Black Widow and Hawkeye on opposite sides. That should be an interesting subplot to that movie.
Mm-hmm, definitely. Natasha and how, I mean, and the trick she has up her sleeve.
Yeah, I agree with you on your question. Like, where is Scarlet Witch in this one? I mean, what's going on here? I mean, I thought for sure she would wind up siding. I thought for sure we'd see her on Team Captain America, considering how much she still hates. I think she still hates Stark. I mean, there's got to be there's still probably some kind of resentment to it, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, I'd like to know where she is. I will admit, I'm glad they're not showing us Spider-Man. It's like, okay, guys, I mean, some things should be a surprise. I mean, and this is the biggest. I mean, this is like this has shaped up to be their biggest reveal. Spider-Man is going to be in this film. We all know it. Save that for the movie or something. Don't give us a clear look at the guy yet.
Yeah.
You agree? Would you agree with that? Do you think the Spider-Man reveal is something they should save until the movie comes out?
I believe they should play their cards to the chest. Definitely with definitely with with these days and with the internet, it is so easy to easily obtain information about a movie before it hits a theater. I mean, there's a kind of resentment and disappointment that people know stuff before it happens. I mean, there should be they should play their cards to the chest, not reveal everything. Not everything should be revealed. I mean, something you don't want to go in knowing everything about a movie before you see it. I mean, some things, but I would say they would choose wisely, about what to reveal, what not to reveal, and definitely, with Spider-Man. I mean, of course, everyone is all excited about his, interest into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I believe that's one they should, really, really, consider, but very carefully in terms about revealing his involvement. Would you reveal what you should not reveal? I do believe, with Spider-Man, they had to be careful with him.
Yeah. Kind of. I will admit is what I'm hoping Marvel ultimately does with like a trailer for this film is like we see like a shadow appear, and one of the characters kind of like looks up at the shadow and they say, "Who are you?" The screen goes dark and you hear Tom Holland say, "I'm Spider-Man." Like that's all I need until the movie comes out. I just want to hear him say one line. I don't need to see him at all. I just want to hear him say one line, just something like that. That would satisfy me until the movie comes out. But I mean, are you hoping you get like something Spider-Man related in the Civil War trailer? Just not, as long as it's not like a full reveal.
I mean, they have to. Maybe a glimpse, maybe a fleeting glimpse, maybe just like a small screenshot. I mean, they're going to have to promote him. They're going to have to find some way to promote him in the advertisements leading up to the movie without giving away anything substantial. I mean, they've been trying to, grab at this character to have him, be part of this universe for like forever. The last thing they want to do is like, drop the ball on this whole thing. I mean, they have to be really careful, especially, the Marvel universe so far has done wonders for Marvel. I mean, and with Spider-Man, you gotta be careful with him. Like I said, when it comes to information about the movie, keep as little as possible. Keep it as little as possible. Keep as much information as possible to the chest, especially with a character like Spider-Man. It's just like, I believe, you should really carefully consider how in terms of how in the advertisements to what to reveal of him, his role in this whole thing. It may be how it is in the comic. His role is kind of ambiguous. Which side does he choose? But yeah, just try to reveal as little as possible. But still, reveal stuff that gets the fans excited.
Oh, I mean, they have to market Spider-Man for this movie. I mean,
yeah.
Captain America, Iron Man, these characters have become like very popular since the MCU came out. But let's be honest, Spider-Man is still the face of Marvel. I mean, and he's going to be in this movie. People have been chomping at the bit. I mean, I still remember when we got the news that the deal had worked out between Sony and Marvel that was going to allow Spider-Man to come home. We were jumping up and down with joy.
we were ecstatic. We were stoked. I'm like, it's like, yeah, Spider-Man's finally coming home. It's like,
Spider-Man's home, yes. I mean, I agree. They have to market him for this movie. They have to get the word out. Spider-Man's in this movie, but at the same time, they need to be very careful about how they market him because you can't give us too much. You don't want to spoil this before. You would need to make us go see the movie, okay? Don't give us all the details before the movie comes out because then there's no point in seeing the movie. All right, so yeah, that was the Marvel news we wanted to go over. You know, the teams have been revealed. Hopefully, it will still be some more surprises. Hopefully, we'll see what these get in the show. But anyway, let's move on to the main topic, and that is the Superman and Batman anthology discussion and debate. I mean, Superman and Batman, the Kings of DC. We got the Superman and Batman movie coming out next year, so we thought this might be a good time to kind of like look back and like, okay, let's look back at some of the previous ones, like the ones that really started the ball rolling in terms of comic book movies. So we're going to start with the Superman films. We're going to talk about those for a moment because they're the ones that started it all. And so we're going to begin with, obviously, the one that started all, the original 1978 Superman film. I mean, what can you say about this film that hasn't already been said? I mean, you could make a strong argument that this is the movie that made comic book movies popular. I mean, you know, Chris Reeve is Superman, Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor, Margaret Kidder is Lois Lane. I mean, just this film made you realize that superheroes could be done on the big screen and done well. I mean, it's a great story. The effects are certainly hold up very well today. I mean, when you look at that movie, I mean, the tagline of Superman, the first Superman film, is "You will believe a man can fly." And when you look at that movie, you honestly believe that Chris Reeve is flying. Like, you're not looking at Chris Reeve, you're looking at Superman, and he's flying through the sky. I mean, it's such a historic moment. It's such a historic movie, and you can't help but love it. You just can't. So that's what I think about Superman 78. Chris, what about you?
Definitely. The Superman 78. I can say that has been said. You know, the movie that really made comic book movies legit. You know, it's a movie that didn't insult the intelligence of its audience. I mean, a movie that really didn't do a disservice to the character, disrespect to the character. It honored the character. It really gave respect and reverence to it. You know, it's just, it brought the character to life. It's the best I think it's the best representation of Superman on the big screen. It captured what we wanted Superman to look like and to be like. You know, Christopher Reeve, you know, with this honest and earnest performance, really captured who we wanted Superman, you know, to be like on the screen. He really, you know, embodied the character. And one of the best aspects of this is portrayal how he made Clark Kent different from Superman. You know, he made this fully. He completely, you know, the great thing about his performance is he played two characters with, you know, two completely opposite personalities. You know, that was the great thing about his portrayal, is how he was able to, you know, bring those characters to life. You know, especially Superman with this portrayal. Of course, you got a big cast here. You got Marlon Brando as Jor-El. You know, Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor. You know, you got Glenn Ford as Jonathan Kent. You know, you got you know, Terrence Stamp as General Zod. Oh my God. There's just like a huge cast here. You know, it's just like the, you know, of course, you know, the Lex Luthor portrayal is not my favorite, you know, but this is one of the great. It's one of the smaller weaknesses of the movie. But yeah, this is like a big multi-million-dollar production done in the middle of '78. You know, this is like Richard Donner delivered on they gave us a wonderful production. Of course, you had that iconic John Williams music.
Oh my God! Like, would it kill Zack Snyder to add that theme song to Man of Steel? Like, I think it would have elevated that movie so much more. Just give me that classic theme song.
You know, yeah, it's great. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, Hans Zimmer is a respected composer of his own right, but that music screams Superman.
Yes.
It's just like, it's completely the great musical embodiment of that character. And there were ever to be a fanfare that would, that would be an official fanfare, official musical piece for a character, it should be that, because that really it's so identified with it, you know. I mean, but yeah, the special effects don't really hold up to me. It seemed rather cheesy today, but it made Superman grand and epic, you know, and it's really it became the standard for all to follow. And it's just like this is really, I mean, this is truly one of the most underrated of fantasy movies. I mean, it truly is. It's really entertaining. It's great entertainment. You know?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, so Superman. If Superman was a good film, then Superman 2, to me at least, was way better. I mean, just everything about this film was better. It looks better. You know, Chris Reeves still does a great job, but Terrence Stamp as Zod, like seeing his full power, just oh my god, I can't. I have nothing bad to say about Superman 2. Yeah. What's that? It's been a long time since I've seen that movie, but I remember enjoying the heck out of it. It was just so good. Everything about it I loved. Just unbelievable friggin' movie. Huge step up from the first one. Everything about it was bigger. Everything about it was grander. I love Superman 2. So I got nothing else to say. I got nothing negative to say about it. What about you?
Well, I'm not like you. Like, I like Superman 2. I really like Superman 2. However, I don't consider it superior to Superman 1.
Okay.
Yes, I mean, it does kind of falter in some aspects, but you know, the great thing about it is Christopher Reeve's performance. You know, like I said, he really delivers. You know, as Superman Clark Kent. You know, Lex Luthor is portrayed as how he was. You know, in the original film, just like a really comic buffoonish villain. You know. But the real standout here has to be Terrence Stamp as General Zod.
Man,
he plays this to the T. He is just a ruthless, you know, megalomaniacal, just like sadistic, like tyrant. You know, he really just like he plays an icy cold nemesis to Superman. You know, that great line, "Kneel before Zod." It's just like, oh, it's fucking awesome. Of course, you have that great fight at the end between Superman and the three villains. So that's like classic. You know, that's like classic. That's a classic battle in superhero cinema. It's like it's just like, and it's just cinema period. It's one of the great fight scenes of all. You know, special effects had dated a little. I think it borderlines on camp a bit. You know. Does goes to slapstick, you know, and unnecessarily, you know, it's some things that are a bit ridiculous, and the whole structure of things, you know. I mean, some of the comedies are a bit, you know, corny and stupid, you know, but you know, it's nevertheless it's a satisfying movie to watch, you know. Yeah, it's entertaining as his predecessor.
Yes, indeed, and you know. I'm gonna bring this up a whole lot. You know how everyone was like going batshit crazy when Superman killed Zod in Man of Steel? Like, Superman killed Zod in Superman 2, and no one batted an eye. So why is Superman killing Zod in Superman 2 okay, but him killing Zod in Man of Steel not okay? I mean, like, that makes no sense.
I mean, I'm just astonished at the hypocrisy of that. You know, it's like. I mean, how like people are willing to ignore, you know, what Superman did to Zod in Superman 2, but are so outraged by what he did to him in Man of Steel.
Bullshit.
It's like, are these people serious? It's like, don't. This is that's a real fucked up situation right there. It's like,
yeah. All right. Speaking of fucked up situations, unfortunately, the Superman franchise kind of went downhill fast after Superman 2. Superman 3. I will admit there were some good, like, Clark Kent focused scenes. There were a couple scenes that focused on Clark Kent that I thought were good, but overall, this movie was bad. This movie was just bad. It was boring. The comedy was not good. Richard Pryor, I'm sure this guy is, I know this guy was a legendary stand-up. I'm sure he was a fine actor, but he did not have it in this movie. And the whole nega Superman bullshit. Like, what the hell was up with that? So I mean, yeah, terrible movie overall. I hated it. What about you?
Oh, it reeks. Oh my God, it fucking reeks. How the hell do you put Richard Pryor in a fucking Superman movie? It's like, what the hell? I mean, what the fuck is he doing in a Superman movie in the first place? And, you know, if I recall correctly, I believe Richard Pryor was on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, saying like how he would love to be in a Superman movie. Like, and I believe the producers Alexander and Elias Salkin saw this. It's like, maybe we should put him in a Superman movie. It's like, you don't put a comedian in a Superman movie. I mean, it's a fucking comedian. It's not a comedy. I mean, it's like, I hated when they went to the campy comedic tone. So it reminded me of the '60s Batman series. It's like, it doesn't fit with the performance. You know, Barr is miscast in the Superman movie. I like the aspects of the darker Superman, especially the fight between him and Clark Kent in the junkyard. It was like, that was pretty cool. But everything else, you know, I mean, it's like the comedy and all that. It's just a terrible movie. And like, those were cheap laughs, and it's like, I mean, it's just like a movie that should never been made. It's just like it's a terrible stain on Superman's legacy. It's just an abominable film. It's unwatchable. I can't.
Oh, you thought Superman 3 is a stain on Superman's legacy? Wait till we get to the next one. Yeah, if I remember correctly, back in episode 1, when we were counting down our top 10 worst sequels, and I was about to bring this one up because I know it was on my list. I remembered something that the Nostalgia Critic said when he did his Man of Steel review, with like Angry Joe and Doug Walker dressed as General Zod. Like, those two are about ready to go out, and they're kind of like, they're forcing the critic to choose between, do you like Man of Steel, do you hate it? And the critic asks, can't we all just hate Superman 4? And I went something like, yes! Why are we waging a war over Man of Steel? Let us drop our weapons of hatred and unite in our common hatred of Superman 4. Because let's be honest, people, anyone who says Man of Steel is the worst Superman movie ever has obviously never seen the abomination known as Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. This film is just god-fucking awful in every sense of the word. Terrible storyline, terrible performances, even by Chris Reeve, bullshit morals, and a special effects budget of $100, and you can clearly tell it. This film is just bad in every sense of the word, and if it is not on your worst sequels list, you're insane. It's just that bad. I mean, compared to Superman 4, Man of Steel's a fucking masterpiece. I had my problems with Man of Steel. Don't get me wrong. I had my problems with it. But compared to Superman 4, Man of Steel's a masterpiece. It really is. Superman 4 is infinitely worse. No question whatsoever. And if you can't see that, see a psych. See a shrink, please. Oh. All right. Chris, you're up. You know, rip Superman 4 a new asshole. I've already done it. Now it's your turn.
Okay. I'm going to try to contain myself. Oh, Jesus. Oh, this movie delivered a bomb in more ways than one. Oh, my God. It looks like it's shot. It looks like the fucking scenes on the fucking movie, like they were shot and it's like on the auditorium stage of a high school. He's like, the whole damn thing looks cheap. It has sincere performances, you know. You know, I mean, its intentions were a bit, they were a bit, honest and good. I mean, it had good intentions, but it just along the way it dealt with a shitty ass production company, Canon Group. Canon Productions was like, fuck you. And they were the ones who made the abominable Masters of the Universe movie. It was like, like the bad. It just leaves a bad taste in your mouth, you know, just from the idiotic, nonsensical story, the almost non-existent plot, you know, some lame characters. Lacey Warfield, I believe, was like the love interest of Clark Kent's like, give me a break. Yeah, at least she was a nice, yeah, but you know, but you know, but the movie is a bit too short in length. You know, it has plot holes, you know, big enough for Superman to fly through. It's a disgrace to like Superman. It's a disgrace in like the whole canon movie. It's a disgrace to cinema. It's just unbelievably awful. You know, it's like.
You gotta talk lame characters. Is there anyone more lame than Nuclear Man?
Makes me shock. Oh my god! Just like
I want to know how much money did they give Gene Hackman to provide the voice of that guy? Because did you know that Gene Hackman voiced Nuclear Man?
I did. Like he must have been mumbling and grumbling when he in the voiceover section.
Yeah, like what was he thinking? And then you know that speech at the end about how peace is attained when Superman says, "No, you gotta want it bad enough to the point that our governments will have no choice but to give it." Like, oh yeah, so that's how peace is attained. It's not through a share of ideas. It's not through sharing of cultures and all that stuff. It's just wanting it bad enough. That's the secret to world peace. You just gotta want it bad enough.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What a fucking low that is.
Oh yeah, it's just so cartoonishly, you know, unmemorable. I mean, it's just so cartoonishly laughable. It's like, it's hard.
I know. Like, you know, I brought up the special effects. Like, I've seen better special effects in a goddamn porno film.
Okay.
How sad is that? Like, those are some of the worst made movies ever. I've seen better special. I'm serious. I've seen better special effects in a porno film. My God, that's bad. That's when you know you have a shitty film.
Oh yeah.
Straight up. Oh my gosh. All right. Let's get off this shit train. Like I said, we're not gonna bring up the 06 one because because there's no fifth Batman film to kind of compare it to. It kind of stands on its own a little bit, although you could make an argument to continue it, but we're not bringing it up. So I mentioned when we started this that Superman was kind of like the trigger to like make comic book movies cool. Like this is the launchpad. This made comic book movies relevant. Well, if that is the case, then this next film that we're about to get to made dark, gritty comic books plausible, and that is, of course, the masterpiece known as Batman 1989. We are moving on to Batman now, and we're talking about the Batman film beginning with Batman 89. Is there anything wrong with this movie? I don't think so. I mean, just everything about it is great. The tone of it is awesome. The story is great. The acting is amazing. I mean, it's hands down my favorite live-action Batman film. I love 89. Michael Keaton is still the best Batman of them all. Everything about it. I love him as both Bruce Wayne and Batman. Kim Basinger as Vicky Vale. Hello, baby. And then, of course, you know, Jack Nicholson as the Joker. I mean, you know, the joking around comic psycho. He just has it. I love his performance because it's just comic booky enough to give you a bit of a suspension of disbelief. He's definitely got a real gritty tone to him, but it's just comic booky and just over the top enough to make you have fun with it. Oh my God. Everything about Batman 89, I fucking love it. I have nothing negative to say about 89. It's still, to this day, one of the best comic book movies of, not just comic movies, but one of the best movies of all time, especially, at least in recent memory. And of course, much like Superman, an absolutely memorable music theme by Danny Elfman. Absolute masterpiece of music. So, yeah, Batman 89, freaking awesome, always will be. I love it. Chris, what about you?
Oh my goodness. This is one of the few movies I saw as a kid, you know. But this movie is appropriately dark. It is gritty. It is gothic beyond measure. It is so wonderfully brooding, and it captures the spirit of the character. It captures the essence of him. Michael Keaton, I think, is the best live action Batman. I'm not sure about his Bruce Wayne, but yeah, it is. His Batman is appropriately dark, and appropriately. It's probably like a strong silent type. It's just like he's very much appropriately like a creature of the night. But Jack Nicholson as Joker. Yeah, he just what a wonderfully twisted, psychopathic, psychotic, brain of terror, and this is before Heath Ledger played the Joker. Of course, his Joker has become so iconic now, but one remembers Jack Nicholson in that movie. It's just like he really, seeps himself into that character. He was the perfect Joker. He just, he embodies everything you would want the Joker to be. It's just like he's wonderfully twisted and manic and crazy, and he really seeps himself into that character. I wasn't really a big fan of Kristen Kidd Basie as Vicky Vale. I mean, to me, she kind of looks like the scream queen in that movie. She just always do was screaming. Yeah, she's hot as hell, but but her character, wasn't one that made a big impression on me. But this movie, and it's just like, and the production design of it is fucking fantastic. It so reminds me of Metropolis and Blade Runner and all other movies, that came after, But yeah, it's just like this movie is fucking fantastic. It's a little bit, I wouldn't say campy somehow. The destruction movie seems a bit sloppy in some portions, but it's still like a fantastic, translation of this character to the screen. It's fucking fantastic.
Well, yeah, I think that's, you mentioned like a slight campiness. Like, I think that's why 89 to me is still better than Dark Knight, because as great as the Dark Knight was, Batman 89 is still, it's still comic booky enough to give you a suspension of disbelief. Like like I said, I love the Dark Knight trilogy, but there are times when it feels like it's too realistic. Batman is still a comic book character. There are supernatural elements to him. It's he's still a comic book character, and I think Tim Burton understood that better than Chris Nolan. And that's, like I said, that's why I love the 89 Batman movie more, because it was just comic booky enough.
Yeah.
On another note, little fun fact that I remember reading. I can't remember where I read it from, but when Batman 89 made it over to Italy, obviously it was dubbed. The voices were dubbed over by Italian actors. And I can't remember the name of the guy who voiced the Joker, but I remember reading that when The Dark Knight came to Italy and it was dubbed over by Italian actors, the guy who dubbed over Heath Ledger's Joker was the son of the guy who voiced over Jack Nicholson's Joker in the 89 film.
Whoa.
So I thought that was pretty. I thought that was a pretty cool fact.
Really? Uncanny.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. All right, so yeah, obviously Batman 89, great hit. It's a shame Caleb's not here to talk about it, because he would swoon over this movie knowing him. All right, anyway, so let's move on to the next one. That was Batman Returns. It's very dark, probably a little too dark, if that's possible with a Batman film. Still a great movie, still solid storyline. Michael Keaton's back, Tim Burton's back directing it. Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman, definitely not great. One of my favorite Catwoman interpretations. I thought she did a great job with it. And then, of course, Danny DeVito as the Penguin gave it his all for that. It was dark, twisted, edgy. Like I said, maybe a little too dark and edgy, but still very much an enjoyable film. I enjoyed this very much. Chris, what about you?
Well, yeah, Batman Returns is a pretty good, but not a great sequel to the original 89 film. It definitely it does seem, it seems really decent enough. It has some wonderful, terrific action sequences in it. Michael Keaton's back as You know, as Batman, Bruce Wayne, and he seems to be consistently he seems to do consistently well in terms of his performance. One of the standouts, of course, is Danny DeVito's Penguin. You know, the twisted, you know, manacle, villain in Gotham City who dwells in the sewers. And of course, there's Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman, probably same as dangerous, sexy femme fatale. She is fun, wonderful in this movie. She really, nails this character. She does this character service. I'm not really sure about Christopher Walken's presence in this movie. As Max Shrek. I mean, I'm not sure he was really a much needed character in the movie, but I think
Chris Walken. I mean, listen. Oh boy, Chris Walken is just one of those actors where it's like, I don't care what he's in. I'm still gonna watch him because he's Christopher fucking Walken. I mean, he's one of the strangest,
he's awesome,
most talented, and most awesome badass in Hollywood. Like, I don't care what he is, where he is, what movie. I don't care what he's doing. I'm still gonna watch him. So I mean, he's entertaining regardless.
Yes, he is. Walken is like fucking cool. He's
a man.
Yes, but yeah, the production design, the visual style is like fucking. It's fucking fantastic, like I said, but I think it's a little too dark, a little bit too twisted, and a little bit too mean spirited in terms of his, style. But I think his film was rather colder than his predecessor. It's just like it does feel kind of like a Dickens tale, in some respects. It just has that feel. Maybe like a Christmas Carol, I was often reminded that it feels so like a Disney. It's just like it feels so much like a Dickens tale. But yeah, it's a serviceable follow up to the 1989 original.
Yeah,
it's pretty.
Yeah, so I mean, Batman Returns, if I recall, it was a big hit, but it wasn't the mega hit that Warner Brothers was hoping it would be. So they booted Tim Burton from the franchise and replaced him with Joel Schumacher. In the wake of that, Michael Keaton walked out. He was replaced by Val Kilmer, and we get Batman Forever, which I will say right now, and I have no shame in this, and I feel that Batman Forever is underrated. And here's why I think it is underrated. Tommy Lee Jones. Listen, Tommy Lee Jones is a great actor. I know that everyone knows that. I think he's a great actor. I got nothing but respect for him. But let's be straight up. He fucking bombed as Two-Face. Never mind comparing him to Aaron Eckhart. He just sucked, period. He was god-awful in this movie. And he overshadowed, and he was so bad, he overshadowed the whole movie. Because everything else about this film, I actually enjoyed. I mean, Val Kilmer, I thought he did a good job as both Bruce Wayne and Batman. I enjoyed Nicole Kidman. Chris O'Donnell didn't suck. The story was decent. The action was good. And Jim Carrey as the Riddler. I love this guy so much. Like, he was hands down my favorite thing about him. Like, if there was a villain Jim Carrey was born to play, it's the Riddler. And he played the hell out of this character. I cannot picture anyone else doing a live action Riddle. I fucking loved him in this film. So, yeah, I feel, it's definitely much more brighter. It's much more colored, but, that in a way that I think the nostalgia critics said it best. This was the Batman film studios always dreamed of. Safe and marketable, and it was a huge hit. And, I think it deserved it. I thought it was a good movie. Not as good as not as good as Batman. I don't think it was as good as Batman Returns, but a very underrated movie. I think it deserves more attention. I do not think it deserves the hatred it gets. I think it is a good film that deserves more recognition. So, Batman Forever, good movie. If you just ignore Tommy Lee Jones, and everything else about it is good. Everything else about it is good. So that's what I think about Batman Forever. What about you, Chris?
I wish I could say good things about Gia Pauli, but I'm not. it's not as good as I remember. It's not as good. I mean, this movie is too loud. It's in your face. It's just reeks of blatant commercialism. It seems like a very expensive toy commercial. It's too bright. It so reminds me of the '60s TV series, and not in a good way. Not in a good way. I mean, even there's even a reference to that, that horrible TV show.
Oh, come on! I loved that.
Oh no,
that was funny.
No, it was horrible. It's just like, it's just
holy rusted metal, Batman! I'm like, what? That made me laugh.
Yeah. I can't get enough of that.
No, I've been watching the '60s show a lot recently. I've been watching that show. Like, oh my god, it's as cheesy, campy as I remember, and I love it. Anyway, continue.
Yes, but yeah, it's too colorful. Yes, it's lighter. Yes, but not. It's not, to my taste. Val Kilmer was okay as Bruce Wayne and Batman. Tommy Lee Jones he's fucking obnoxious as Two-Face. You just want him to get killed off in the first few moments. It's like enough already with this bullshit. I would believe some people say Jim Carrey was playing himself as the Riddler, but he was appropriately, twisted and manifold, inside in this as the Riddler, this sociopathic, genius with this twisted genius, who tries to get on the Batman again, the Riddler character, he portrays, but I'm not sure it was fun to call Kim as the love interest in this movie, but it seems so busy, and it's like in this uninteresting story, Jim Carrey definitely has some charisma to him, in this performance, but it is really disappointing as a Batman movie. It's just like I miss the Wagnerian bombast of Tim Burton. It's just like it's just a movie that I don't find enjoyable.
I don't know how much hate I'm going to get for this, but I just realized there is one redeeming thing about Tommy Lee Jones in this movie, and that is Drew Barrymore is one of his henchwomen. God. I got no shading. And Drew Barrymore, I've had such a big crush on her for years. She's so gorgeous, especially in this movie. Oh my god. So yeah, get going. I had to get that out of the way. If you have Drew Barrymore looking as hot as she did in that movie as one of your henchwomen, you're doing something right. I had to get that one out of the way. I'm sorry. All right. So, as I mentioned, Batman Forever was a big hit. So, logically, Schumacher was brought back to direct the next one. Unfortunately, whereas Batman Forever did get away with being a huge hit, this next one is widely regarded as one of the worst movies ever made. I am speaking, of course, about the shit pile known as Batman and Robin. Oh, how do I describe this movie? I don't really think I can. I think the nostalgia critic, I'm going to go to him again. I think he said it best. It is a movie so bad that lawyers are actually coming up with claims that while their clients' crimes were bad, at least they didn't make Batman and Robin. And in the most remote corners of Southeast Asia, showing this film is considered the #1 form of execution. I can believe, it is not true, but if someone were to say it, I would believe it. This film is just god-awful in every sense of the word. Terrible storyline, bad performances, lousy action sequences, just, everything about it. Everything. I hate this movie. So Arnold Schwarzenegger with his ice pun. Someone needs to tell him to shut the hell up. Chris O'Donnell is a whining little pussy bitch. George Clooney with the bat nipples. Uma Thurman was unimpressive, though smoking hot. And why is Alicia Silverstone in this movie as Batgirl? Not a good interpretation. I could shit on this movie all day. I would rant about it too, but people have ranted on it enough. I don't feel the need to rant on it anymore. But yeah, this movie is. Don't waste your time with it. It's just God fucking. It's not even deserving of a guilty pleasure title. It's just bad. Period. Not worthy of your attention. Yeah, terrible movie. That's all what I got to say. All right, Chris, if you can rant about this movie, go for it.
Whoa, this is a movie I liked when I was a kid, but I was too stupid to realize the shitfest that it is. Yeah, I got the toys as much as many other kids did. You know, I mean, of course, I got a lot of Batman toys, Star Wars, Star Trek toys. I mean, hell, this movie is fucking awful. This movie is a disgrace, and it is a stain of Batman. Not only the legacy of Batman films, but of comic book movies in general. It is that one chapter in comic book movie history. It's like you just want to skip the pages over. It's just so fucking disastrous. I mean, it's like it has an A dialogue, a stupid storyline, laughably bad performances, and a comedic and campy tone. You want to just like you just want to sulk over. You just like you just want to. You just it's unfucking bearable. You know. You know, George Clooney, he was okay in this, but he wasn't like spectacular as Bruce Wayne and Batman. You know, Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's just unbearably over the top. The ice puns, he just wears him out. But kill the dinosaurs.
The Ice Age.
Oh my god! It's like oh, stay cool, bird boy. It's like,
can you be cold, Batman? Cool party.
It's a cool party. This is all right, everyone. Chill. It's like,
yes.
And comment was like, enough already, you piece of shit. God damn it. Enough with this bullshit already. Fuck up with this bullshit, man. Chris O'Donnell, shut the fuck up. It's like, I want Robin Siegel to like, it's like, and can we talk about the fucking like back credit cards? It's like, you're killing me. You're killing me with this bullshit. It's like, this Joker Schumacher, get the fuck away from Batman. God damn it. Enough with this bullshit already.
Where is it?
It's just like a whole huge toy commercial. It's loud and busy. It's nonsensical. You know, it's just like, it's a whole toy. It's an advertisement. Nothing more. It ain't a real movie. It's just like This is a huge, especially it's just designed to print out. It's a money printing machine. It's an awful, just it's like unbearable, unwatchable,
piece of shit, dude.
Cinematic experience, and the bat nipples and the crotch shots. No, god damn it! It's definitely one of the worst movies to ever be produced.
Could you make an argument that movie nearly killed Batman?
Yes, it did. I mean, it was such an embarrassment. It was such an embarrassment. It's like I think I heard at one time the comic book store in the comic book stores weren't as busy. They weren't pulling in the sales that they used to be because of that. How awful that movie was.
Yeah. I think thank goodness we still had some. Thank goodness we had the animated series still going on. I think don't remember too much, but I mean we got Justice League later on, which kind of helped out. All right. So now that we have discussed these movies, let's stack them up side by side. We'll tack each film side by side and then decide which anthology was better. So are you ready to do this part?
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, so obviously round one, we have Superman 78 versus Batman 89. Which film is better and why? I would have to go with Batman '89 simply because it's the storyline is so much better. Like Michael Keaton he is Batman to me. Just I love everything. The action is better. Just everything about it is just seems to be better. Yes, both films are iconic. They're both legendary. They both made comic book movies what they are today. But I mean, Batman '89. I think the big edge has to be there was a better villain. Jack Nicholson was just a better villain than Gene Hackman. So for that reason, I give the edge to Batman '89. Chris, what about you?
Batman. It's a choice between Batman. It's between Superman '78, Batman '89. It would have to go for me to Superman '89. It's just a better film overall.
You mean Superman '78 or?
I mean, I would have to go with Superman '78.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a better film overall. I think it's a better structured, film in terms of screenplay, story structure. It has, some fantastic performances. What's there to say about Christopher Reeve as the Man of Steel? It's just, it has, great action to it. It has, the special effects are a bit dated, but yeah, there's a wonderful sense of grandeur to Superman '78. As much as I like Batman '89, it has to be that, it falters a bit in terms of the script in some parts. Jack Nicholson's Joker is definitely a better villain than Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor, but Superman, I give the edge to Superman '78.
Alrighty then, all right. So let's move on to the next one. So that's Batman Returns and Superman 2, which is better and why. This one, I'm giving the edge to Superman 2. I thought, Batman Returns, yes, it was a good film, but it was like we both said, it was a little too dark, a little too twisted, a little too edgy. Superman 2 was just a perfect action comic book movie. Again, Christopher Reeve gives a great performance. The story's so good, the actions, he was great. But Terrence Stamp as General Zod, that megalomaniac psycho, oh my God, this guy could scare the shit out of you. He was just so intimidating, so ruthless, so perfect in that role. So for those reasons, Superman 2 far and away superior to Batman Returns. That's what I say. Chris, what about you?
Superman, between Superman 2 and Batman Returns. Edge to Superman 2.
All right.
Yeah, Superman 2. Batman Returns. It was perfectly good, but it wasn't. It wasn't as good as its predecessor. It has this quick. It has a structured story problems as much, but it can go too far in terms of the darkness and the violence. But Superman 2, I think, is a more superior movie. It has, it had problems with its humor. It goes into slapstick a bit more into once the humor seems a bit inappropriate, but it just, I just love, the romance between Lois. It's just a better movie. I love the romance between Lois Lane and Superman. And of course, General Zod as Superman, one of the great comic book movie villains ever. He just chews the scenery with his performance. That great battle at the end with him and the three villains. He just kissed their ass. This is the stuff comic book movies are made of. It's just great entertainment.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right, round 3. Superman 3 versus Batman Forever. For me, this one was an absolute no-brainer. Batman Forever, far and away better than Superman 3. Like I said, Superman 3 just sucked. Batman Forever is underrated. I enjoy it. And so, yeah, no-brainer on this one. Batman Forever is far superior to Superman 3. Hands down, not even close. So, Chris, what about you?
Definitely with you. We're definitely with you on this. It's a no-brainer for me. Superman between Superman 3 and Batman Forever, it's got to be Batman Forever. Batman Forever may not be a good movie. They're both not. They're both not very good movies to me. But Batman Forever is definitely a bit superior. It's a bit more entertaining and enjoyable. But it does have its problems. It's a little bit too dark. Excuse me, a little bit too light, a little bit too campy. Which I can say the same about Superman 3, which is far worse. Due to Richard Pryor's presence, and it's just like the uninteresting story. And the villain being a Lex Luthor ripoff, it's just an complete abomination. It's just a terrible, unwatchable experience. Oh my Lord.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right, Fourth and final round, Superman 4 versus Batman and Robin. Now, we have established that both of these films are absolutely atrocious. So there's no point in saying, so to actually decide which one's better would be an exercise in futility. So I am going to phrase it like this. We are going to try to we're going to decide which film sucked less. And for me, I have to say, as god awful as both these films are, which film sucked less? I would have to say Batman and Robin sucked less than Superman 4 for one reason and one reason only. And that is George Clooney as Bruce Wayne. Now, don't get me wrong, he is far and away the worst Batman of them all. I mean, to this day, he has a photo of himself from that set reminding him, don't ever make a movie solely for money. But honestly, I think he's the best Bruce Wayne, hands down. I mean, if I were to picture Bruce Wayne, like a real-life Bruce Wayne, George Clooney comes to mind. I mean, George is one of those guys where, like, you know, he gets up in the morning and he pisses sex. He's just, I mean, when I think of Bruce Wayne, I would think of George Clooney. Like, he just has that persona to him. It's like, yeah, baby, yeah, I'm Bruce Wayne. That's right. I run a multi-billion-dollar company. I do a lot of charity work. Yeah, that's right. So, what you doing tonight? You got little plans? Maybe join me, little dinner, little wine, little dance, little bedtime action time. I mean, Bruce Wayne's a womanizing ladies' man. George Clooney fits that bill perfectly. And so, for that reason, because I loved him as Bruce Wayne, I thought he was the best one. For that reason and that reason only, Batman and Robin sucks less than Superman 4. So, Chris, it's up to you. Like I said, deciding which film's better than exercise in futility. So, which film sucked less?
I may not have a definitive answer for that. George Clooney at least was a slight redeeming aspect of Batman, but he wasn't enough to save it. But yes, these two films are just they're just like wastes of time and money and expense. You know, they just like shit on their respective characters. You know, oh god, just like Superman 4 is unbearably cheap and unwatchable and just downright laughable and stupid. Batman and Robin is just you want to close your eyes in horror. You know, it's like it's just fucking. I mean, it's just fucking obnoxious. It's fucking terrible. It's just like these movies are just. I don't know which one is worse. I don't know which one is better. But I both know. I know what I know is this. They both suck. It's not carousels. I mean, of course they suck. It's just streaming piles of shit.
Oh, no. You know what? There's another reason why Batman and Robin sucks less than Superman 4. I just remembered this. Joel Schumacher, to his credit, knew how powerful the image of Mr. Freeze's wife is. Seeing her frozen in that container, this is about like Batman the Animated Series rewrote Mr. Freeze, made him the villain that we know today, this tragic Shakespearean villain looking for a cure for his wife. And ever since the animated series, that everybody that has worked on Batman has used that origin story for Mr. Freeze. And, you know, like I said, to his credit, Schumacher did use that. He used the image of Mr. Freeze's frozen wife to give him that tragic backstory. So, I mean, yeah, George Clooney and Nora Freeze frozen, those two things are why Batman and Robin sucks less to me, because they did get that part right, though it doesn't excuse what a god-awful movie it was. So I forgot to bring that up. So, can you at all possibly try to decide which film sucks less? Is that something you could do or no?
I think I can. It's just like I said, they're both like, you know, extremely piles of shit. They're both decidedly god awful. You know, Superman 4 has his good intentions. You know, George Clooney has, you know, I mean, Batman Robin has that performance by George Clooney. But God, they're just like, oh, it's just like, I can't, I can't believe how bad they are. Oh.
All right. Sounds like I don't know. I think this might be a little close to call. So I mean, given everything that we have discussed up to this point, Chris, the vote's up to you on this one. I mean, overall, which anthology would you say is better? We kind of made it a really tough call. I'm not really sure I can decide on this one. For me, I would have to give the edge to the Batman anthology over the Superman anthology, simply because the two bad films, the 3 and 4, they weren't as bad as the 3 and 4 films of Superman. So, I mean, by that alone, it's sad to say, but I mean, that reason and that reason alone for me is why I would pick the Batman anthology as a better one. But I'll be honest, it's tough to call on that one. They're both, great franchise. They're both great. They're both great franchises. You can't really say anything too negative about them. So I mean, the vote is yours, Chris. I mean, which anthology do you think is better, the Superman one or the Batman one?
I'm not really, sure at this point. I'm not really sure, Yeah, they both had their, successes. They both had their, bumps along the road. Superman, Superman had two great movies, with Superman 1 and Superman 2, Superman 3 and 4 were, it's just like they're both fuck fest.
Yeah.
And Batman, I felt Batman and Batman Returns were pretty good, but I didn't think that highly of Batman Forever, Batman and Robin. I mean, who does? You're right, it's too close to call. They both had their, they had their folly, their virtues, and they both had their follies. It's just like, I'm not really sure. Maybe the slight edge to Batman, but at this point, I'm not really sure.
All right. So the debate will continue to rage on. Anyway, guys, we'd like to hear your opinions on this. Like, which films do you think are better? Which anthology do you think is better? So, I mean, if you have an opinion on these anthologies, let us know down in the comment section below. Get your thoughts and opinions out. We want to hear from them. All right, guys. Well, we're almost ready to wrap up the show, but as you all know, it is time for the stuff we do at the end of every month. Now, obviously, this video is coming out September 1st. We were supposed to do this show yesterday, which was August 31st. It was supposed to be the final show of the month, but something came up. We couldn't do it yesterday, but we're still going to do it. It is time for our collection update because we do this all the time. So, Chris, you said you did not have anything to share?
No, unfortunately, I don't.
All right, well, I do. I actually got some. I got some nice pickups this month. I'm happy with the stuff I got. So I like the stuff I got. So this first one, I found this triple feature at Best Buy earlier in the month. Daredevil, Elektra, and the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
A little bit funky there.
Like the Daredevil and Elektra are actually the director's cut. Now, what I have heard about Daredevil is, while the theatrical version was god-awful trash, the director's cut is actually pretty good. So I'm intrigued to see if that turns out to be true. I've not seen any of these two movies, so I'll get around to watching it. I'm hoping that the same holds true for Elektra, because I've heard that is one of the worst movies ever made. And League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, that's a guilty pleasure of mine. I enjoy it. I think it's good. All right, so these next ones, these are actually some really nice pickups that I got a few weeks ago. They look like graphic novels. That's because they are. These are graphic novels. I see Batman Year One graphic novel. But if you look in the back of it, there comes a Blu-ray DVD combo pack of the DC animated movie that is based on said graphic novel. And I got a few of these this year. Obviously, you just saw Batman Year One. Got that. Get back in there. Come on now. I gotta tape this on because I don't want this thing falling off. Okay, so Batman Year One, the Death of Superman graphic novel with the Superman Doomsday animated movie, and then Wonder Woman Gods and Mortals graphic novel with the Wonder Woman animated movie. This one, the first two I got, those were rebuys. I had them on DVD. I'm upgrading them to Blu-ray. Wonder Woman, I have never seen before. I've never owned it before. I was so excited to finally get this. Read the book and then see the movie at last for the first time. I have been wanting to see this movie for years now. So, yeah, found these for a great sale. They were $14.99 each at Best Buy. That triple feature I showed earlier is only $10 at Best Buy. There were some sales, good sales going on last month. So, yep. Okay, that was my collection update, and that is going to wrap up episode 35 of our show. Chris, thank you very much for joining me. This was fun.
Oh yeah, definitely. I had a great time, doing this for you. It's always a pleasure.
Yes, indeed. All right, guys. So, like I said, that's going to wrap up episode 35. Join us next week as we begin Trilogy Month. We'll be talking about various trilogies throughout the month of September, and we are closing in. We're about a month away from the return of Flash and Arrow, which means we are a month away from the return of our Flash and Arrow recap show. That's been a long time coming, but we can't wait to start talking about those shows again. So we hope you will join us in October when those shows return. Until then, we got more main Nerds United's One shows coming up in September. So everyone, thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.